Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Monday night stream where we're talking about Marco Polo, the Netflix show.
Yeah,
Yeah, second episode of the show.
this
And
is the one where everyone is in the pool.
Yeah.
Um,
no one's
So.
been caught yet. When's the last time you played Marco Polo? Oh, hi.
Ooh. Yeah, like I think I was definitely like a preteen.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, Chad. Have you ever played
Hey,
Marco
Chad.
Polo with pubes? I don't think I have. Because I got pubes.
Like screaming Marco at my crotch.
Yeah, no, just happened to be playing it and also
Well, I mean,
possessor of pubic hair.
Oh,
You've been
have I
fighting for
played
the
it
last decade.
since puberty?
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess you could say
Uh
that. I call puberty when you got pubes.
not a full game, no.
Right.
Like shouted it a couple of times. Yeah,
Oh
sure.
yeah. Anytime if I'm looking for someone, I'll do it. You know,
Mhm.
but it's
Yeah.
I'm not actually playing the game.
Yeah.
I got my eyes open and I'm cheating.
well, I mean, if you're counting not cheating at the game, then I don't think I've ever played the game.
It's like Monopoly.
Um,
I've never really played by the rules.
Also, Marco Polo is it's a pool game, right?
Right.
Yeah, I I've drowned before,
Oh
so
no. I didn't know
uh, like not super comfortable with playing shit with my eyes closed in the pool.
that. Yeah, that is asking for a drowning, I guess.
hmm
I mean, I feel like that's a story that I've never heard, and
Yeah.
is almost like you can't just be like I've drowned before and then never elaborate.
When I was in preschool, I want to say the second year of preschool, um, I was also taking swim lessons in the same general area,
Mm.
and I don't remember much about the day because one, it was in preschool, and my memory only works so long,
Right.
and two, like I did actually lose consciousness.
No shit.
Jeez.
Uh, but one of the other kids in my swim class pulled me out of the pool and they revived me.
Well, that's good.
That-
But
I mean, that's
Uh,
also got to suck for the other kid that can't remember that one time when they were a hero.
mhm. I don't know. Brett might remember it. I honestly have no idea. I know that he was a preschool classmate, and the next time that I saw him was, well, not the very next time. The next time was like the next Monday.
oh yeah, had to. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, they
the
kept you
week
in the
after it
class.
happened. But the next time that I saw him, like that I remember,
Hmm.
was when we were all in intermediate school together, and he was kind of a dick by then.
Oh,
And it's just like, oh man, I'm really glad that this guy saved my life, so I'm not dead. On the other hand, it's just like, man, I wish I didn't owe my life to someone who sucks so bad.
so you do almost. I like that. Yeah, I think he's
Mhm,
one of those guys that peaked real early
Yeah.
as a 4-year-old. He did this one
mhm.
good deed for his life.
He was just coasting for most of school. Like when I was in preschool, I saved someone's life. What did you do?
hmm There was another time where I didn't, I didn't like fully lose consciousnness, but like shit was going black when I got yanked
So,
out. This was uh, this was in high school, and it was, you know how the you're not supposed to swim too soon after eating is like, that's like an old wives' tale. Like
yeah,
even if you do cramp up, it's usually not like you're gonna fucking drown.
right. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it just hurts a little bit. Right?
I mean, sometimes you do
Right.
because you're just like, well, I'm having a real hard time kicking because my leg cramps and oh fuck.
Uh,
Shit, I'm going. All right, whatever. Guess I'm gonna die now. And everything started to go black, and then my dad pulled me out.
I dropped out of that story right as you're tilting back, saying, "Oh shit, shit." So I wasn't sure if you were blacking out or having an orgasm, and then I came right back in with it went black, and I was like, I still don't know. I still don't know.
it's true that it's a real weird thing where Chad can only come now when his head's like in a bucket. Ever since the
Yeah, it's autoerotic asphyxiation with the assistance of water.
yeah,
Like I'm not going to hang myself like David Carradine style.
Yeah.
I need to waterboard myself to come.
Yeah, he just does a
I believe
handstand.
I believe the technical term is autoaquatic asphyxiation.
It is.
Mm.
I've read a lot of Aquaman,
Yeah.
so I know some weird kinky shit.
Hmm. Nice.
Yeah,
Thank
where
you.
he started reading Aquaman when they made Aquaman hot. He's like, oh, let me
Yeah.
check this out.
What are you talking about? He's always been hot.
Oh yeah.
I mean, have you read my fan fiction about where he needs that extra hand? Because he lost his dick hand to a shark or
Yeah.
something.
Right. That's what I was thinking of.
Piranhas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like long-haired, hot Aquaman, not old 70s nerd Aquaman. That's what I was thinking.
Not very many people can pull off an orange shirt and green tights,
Yeah.
but he could.
Well, if you read my fan fiction, a lot of people have pulled off an orange shirt and green tights.
Yeah, when I talk about Aquaman tonight, though, we're talking about Marco Polo.
Yeah.
It
Who
took me
I
a long
have
time to
not
figure
read
out.
any fiction about,
Yeah.
period.
I was trying to figure out who the actor who plays Marco Polo looks like, and it's Bam Margera. It took me most of the episode to figure out that he looks a lot like Bam Margera.
It took me this long to figure that out, but yeah, no, that's actually fairly accurate.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe
you're
not
not
this
wrong.
picture, but it's in there.
I feel like if you look at Bam Margera's avatar or depiction in the video game that he was in about
Yeah.
skateboarding, it looks like this is the real life version of that Bam Margera.
Oh yeah, when they make him a little more handsome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
So I'm hoping to see some Jackass type stuff happen to Marco Polo later on in this. Man, this
Well,
is
what-
episode 2.
When does he start closing his eyes?
well,
Like
it's when
he's
he
been
gets
training with the blind man for a while, and
Yeah.
I know
Oh,
eventually he
yeah.
gets to start doing that, right?
I feel like in season 2 is when he closes his eyes, and that's how he can sneak out of Mongolia.
Mm.
Um,
Just
So-
whispering his name over and over.
yeah. So, what did you guys think of this episode?
I liked it. I felt more interested in watching the show again after this episode than I did after the first episode.
Hmm,
But I think that's largely because the first episode, it centered so much around Marco's life, and I'm like, I don't really give a shit what the white boy doing.
it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to watch
Like-
Marco Polo as much as I want to watch the Kubla Khan show.
Yeah. Like the Khan family, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I do like the I don't know, the weird juxtaposition of how everybody's afraid of the Khan because he's the guy in charge, but also the Khan is really cool and everybody wants to be his friend.
Mhm.
Like it's that weird thing of like, oh, I feel like this is a really decent depiction of what it must have been like to be around any royalty, of just like, it'd be cool if we were friends because then I'd be set, but at the same time you could murder me and no one would say anything. Like it's that weird.
Is it safer to be completely beneath their notice and never like cross their mind ever? Or is it safer to be part of their circle and, you know, you are going to be around when they're angry and they could decide, oh man, I'm just going to kill everyone in this room.
Right.
But you also get to hang out with them when they're doing all the fun stuff.
Yeah. Some free linen and stuff. It's a good time.
Mhm.
You want it.
But yeah, I think it's cool because a lot of times when you see historical fiction or straight fantasy, it's either like an amazing monarch that is the epitome of all that is good, like Elrond and what's her face, the chick in the woods.
The Blair Witch.
Yeah. Um, or they're like, whatchamacallit, the king from Game of Thrones, where it's like, oh yeah, these guys are jackasses, kill them. Like you rarely get to see a like, oh, this guy's an effective leader, but in order to do that, he has to murder a whole bunch of people that probably don't deserve it.
Right.
But also, if he doesn't do that, a whole bunch of people that definitely shouldn't be in charge will be. It's a weird. It's weird to see that well depicted in the show.
Yeah, definitely got more layers to him, more facets to him as a character, which is good to see. Yeah, much more well-developed character than Marco Polo himself. The titular Marco Polo.
Yeah. And I was talking about the naked fight scene a little bit before the stream started with David. Chad,
Yeah.
what did you think?
I'm always a fan of naked fight scene. I don't really care about the genders.
Right.
Like, I'm attracted to women first and foremost, but honestly, anytime that you have a movie that has people fighting naked, it's just like, oh, well, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a big fan of Bronson with Tom Hardy and Eastern Promises with Strider. Can't
Yeah.
remember his name right now.
It's Vigo.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Morgan's.
I couldn't
I kept
even
trying-
remember his name in
Aragorn.
Lord of the Rings.
Aragorn.
I had to remember his fake name.
Just remember this his job.
hmm I thought his job was Ranger.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. I forgot what you had said.
Strider.
Strider.
Like the
Strider and Ranger.
Nintendo game.
Yes, a Ranger and a Strider, not the same thing. Instead of saying Ranger and Strider.
I also liked it. I mean, yeah, I'm attracted to women. She was cute, that and all of that. But I also I like it when, if a show is going to depict nudity, that they don't shy away from it. I hate the fake PG-13 nudity.
Where everyone's crotches are in shadow.
Yeah. Or like there's 1, 2, 3, and then the nudity's gone, and there's no even touch for it because they don't want the rating to go up. It's just like, if you're gonna do it, do it. If you're not gonna do it, don't do it. But don't try to tease me. I'm not a 13-year-old, and it's creepy that you guys are trying to like keep within a 13-year-old's market by showing X amount of nudity. Like, because I mean, I remember that when I was a kid of just being like, oh, this movie is, has just enough nudity that I can go see it, but not so much that anybody will stop me.
Right.
And I didn't realize how creepy that was, until I was like, oh, this was a whole bunch of people artfully figuring out exactly how much boob they could show me before, just to get my money.
Yeah. How much side boob they can sell you with your parents' permission.
Side boob, also known as like why Mila Jovovich got in movies. It's because you can show her completely naked from the side and still maintain a G rating.
It's true, not a very busty one. Beautiful woman, but not a busty.
Well, and
Multi-pass.
just not trying to like knock her or anything. It's just when I look back at all of her movies, it's like, oh, there's so many times where they really played with that because it didn't mess with the ratings, and that's a terrible thing to do to her, period, and just creepy in general.
Right. Also, I was thinking about this a while ago, how I think the biggest action stars of like the mid 2000s, like right before Marvel movies broke, and like in between after, like in the 2000s.
Oh,
Like,
before the Chris's.
yeah, for the Chris's, like the biggest action stars in the world were Mila Jovovich and what's her name from the
Kate Beckinsale.
yeah, Kate Beckinsale. Yeah. Those two. Like they were making big action or whatever movies franchises, and like they were the stars of it more than anyone else. I think was for like a
Jason
3 to
Statham
5
was making
period.
quite a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only other name that I was gonna throw out there.
Yeah.
But even then, he wasn't doing like series. He was just kind of playing the same guy in
Yeah.
5 different movies.
Well, I mean, 5 of those were the same movie too.
Yeah. They just changed the name.
Actually, that's unfair to say. There were 2 of the same movie and 3 of the same movie.
Yeah. But it was still the same guy.
Mhm.
Jason Statham.
But yeah, Mila Jovovich is absolutely who would have ended up being Black Widow if they made
Yeah.
the Avengers in 1999.
Right. Yeah, I see that.
She's even close enough to she's almost got the accent, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea what her natural accent sounds like.
It's true. Well, I think it's probably closest to her Fifth Element accent. That's how I picture it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, she definitely would. I mean, she's like Ukrainian.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that's right. I did read that somewhere when all this Ukraine stuff was happening, popping off. It's like, oh yeah, she has something to do with that, but on the good side, I guess. Yeah, Marco Polo, season 2.
Yeah.
What's up?
No. Marco Polo. I feel like this episode was good because you got to see the upside of the characters and the downside of the court, which usually they don't do that as often in these types of shows. So I enjoyed how multifaceted everybody came across in this, except for the one chick's brother, the praying mantis guy,
Oh yeah,
the cricket minister.
Mm-hmm.
He's just kind of a one-sided douche.
yeah.
But I also learned not to steal cloth in Genghis Khan's time.
Yeah. Well, you can still don't steal his the king's tribute. You don't want to do that. So it starts with the prince coming back all bloody because he lost the battle that we didn't get to see from the end of the last episode. He's just standing there bleeding while his dad yells at him.
The big budget action set piece that unfortunately they had a Netflix budget to work with.
Yeah. Well, we'll see that kind of happen again at the end, but at least we see a fight, so that's cool.
Well, at the end, it really makes sense where it's just like, no, we're not going to have our 2 armies go to war with each other,
Right.
because the winner of this battle kind of needs everyone alive.
Yeah.
We don't want to waste both of our armies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like a weird King Solomon's way of figuring it out, of like just the army being like, which one of you guys is willing to go to war? Not that guy. He's our king.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, oh man, I wish that politics still worked like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you want to lead the country? You better be willing to get in a fist fight with the other guy.
Well, I don't know. Then Herschel Walker might be president. He could probably throw down with a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I
it'd be
don't know
between
how
him and
many more-
Nancy Pelosi, I think.
I don't know how many more concussions he would be able to sustain. Though.
That's true. I figure BJ Penn would fight his way up from governor here to presidency pretty easily.
That But the bouncers at FEMNU could probably beat him for governor.
So we'll have a whole Samoan president and Congress.
Yes, much like in professional wrestling, it'll be a Samoan dynasty.
So have you guys seen the new Black Panther? Because that was how the king was chosen in the Black Panther. It's a site in Wakanda, right?
I have not seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
I was going to go this weekend, and then we had sicknesses, so we could not go. Hoping to try again this weekend. No
I
spoilers.
watched it. It was good.
Okay.
Yeah. I generally give the Marvel movies a few weeks to chill out with a number of people at the theater. But looking forward to it.
I try and watch on opening night if possible.
Hmm.
Like, outside of the fact that ever since Endgame came out, the crowds have been way too interested in making noise. Like, I like the crowd energy of opening
Right.
night shows. But boy, you guys don't need to applaud. No one who made this movie is in the theater to hear your applause.
That performative clapping, this is for the people on stage that we're clapping for them.
Yeah, it's just like it's no stage. They're all very far away right now.
Yes.
I
Strange.
yeah.
Like the cheering, I'm okay with it because it's like a lot of people are just overcome with emotion.
Yeah.
Again, it got much worse after Endgame,
Hmm.
which I don't really understand because the quality of the movies generally got lower. But I guess everyone losing their shit over Captain America with Thor's hammer made it okay for people to just be like, yeah!
This is that now. This is that for this movie.
Which still brings a tear to my eye when I see that.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll go back and find a video of like someone who was filming in a crowded theater, just so that I can hear all of those people excited and happy and think like, oh man, we were a proper country once.
Yeah. Wait, what year did that movie come out? It wasn't during the Trump years, was it?
Oh no, things were terrible then.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's
Wasn't
just
all of
things
it.
are terribler now.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time where we saw a walking embodiment of the United States pick up a hammer and swing for justice, and everybody agreed that was awesome, and that couldn't happen today.
And people will be like, Zack Snyder would do it better.
When I think released the Snyder cut of the Avengers movies.
They would really like the Snyder cut of everything.
That's true. They need the Snyder cuts and the butthole cuts of everything.
I saw a guy on Twitter today because I was like, let's try and go back and look at Twitter and see if everyone is saying where they're migrating to. Which, by the way, as you can see from my name, I've migrated. No, my name is over here. You can see from my name that I've migrated over to Hive, which is like if Twitter and Instagram had a baby.
Oh,
okay.
It also has about the same infrastructure as a baby. It's not really quite ready yet, but
Right.
I mean, it's there.
Yeah. It's time to get all the good usernames.
Yeah. So I actually did not choose to just get my regular name as my username because when I think about it, it's like I actually like the and Chad Wago thing because it makes me feel like I'm a guest star wherever I go.
Yeah, that's nice.
Hmm.
There's something to it.
Or
It's
I'm
like Chad
the
Wagner beat you down,
yeah, no, fuck that guy.
yeah.
But I feel like a guest star, or I feel like I'm that guy who's the agent negotiated for a special billing.
Oh yeah.
Like I got the and or the with or the introducing.
I always thought it was like Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
where
it's
I
good.
got almost the end of the theme song. But anyway, yeah. So I saw someone on Twitter get quote tweeted where he was just like, "This is my top 10 most rewatchable movies," and it was just a list of 9 movies that Zack Snyder did. And also the second 300 movie, which I still to this day believe should have been called 301.
Oh yeah, I definitely should have. Yeah, I watched the movie on a plane and I have no memory of what happened. Except that there was a boat. I know there was like sea stuff that happened.
You gotta watch it not in a public forum, dude.
Yeah.
Because Eva Green gets her tits out.
Oh,
They're great.
nice.
I assume
I
that
wonder if
wasn't on the plane.
they must have cut that out. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it usually gets cut out on planes. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, you don't. I don't recall ever seeing nudity on the plane.
I also say don't pay for it just because Frank Miller is an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, he's not as horrible as he was 10 or so years ago, but he's certainly not great.
Uh,
It still would have been better if he just stopped somewhere in the late 90s.
right.
When did Dark Knight Strikes Again come out? The year before that. If that's when he stopped,
Yeah.
would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. I'm trying to remember. I liked Dark Knight Rises for what it was, but not what it became. I think.
The third Batman movie?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking
There's
of
too many Dark Knight.
Dark Knight
the comic
Returns.
Does stuff.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking of.
Okay.
The comic he wrote, I thought was good for what it was.
Mhm.
I was not happy with him making the what was it, All-Star Batman?
All-Star Batman and Robin was bad, but it was pretty. And Dark Knight Strikes Again was bad, and it looked bad.
Right. And All Star Batman and Robin, that was like the League of Our Own version of Batman, where it was an all Batman baseball league.
Pretty much.
Oh, that would have been so much better. The two highlights of All-Star Batman and Robin that people really remember is when he's telling the child that he kidnapped from the circus after his parents got killed. Are you dense? Are you retarded? I'm the goddamn Batman. That's one highlight that everyone remembers. And the
Right.
other one is when he painted the inside of a house yellow. Every single thing in the house yellow. He painted himself yellow. He painted the small child that he kidnapped from the circus yellow. And then he beat the piss out of Green Lantern.
Yep.
But if you're gonna do it, that's how you have to do it, I guess.
It neutralizes the most powerful weapon in the universe.
Yeah.
You just move into like a yellow warehouse where you don't have to paint everything you own. Then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it wasn't his house.
Oh, okay.
I do also remember that the small child that he kidnapped from the circus, he then left in the Batcave without food or water for weeks until he learned how to move around to train him.
Right.
And I believe that's also the one where he was having sex with Black Canary on a dock after setting a whole bunch of thugs on fire.
Oh.
It with their masks still on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to.
It
If
really
you're gonna do
was.
it with Batman, you want the mask on.
It really was an old man fever dream.
Yeah.
Pretty strange.
Like the best way to read it is to assume that it's all parody.
It sounds like.
I honestly could not tell you whether or not it was all parody. This is also the same person that wrote Holy Terror, which was originally the book where Batman hunts down and murders Osama bin Laden. But DC said, Frank, we love you, but I know that 9/11 affected you very badly, but we're gonna have to say no, thank you. Not with our copyright.
Right.
Which it had to
And
be
so he
so
colored
hard
it
for him to
brown
go in and just erase the ears off of every single drawing.
and just
Like,
change all the blue to brown.
Yeah.
it, but other than that, it's pretty much All-Star Batman doing it.
I haven't read it myself, but
Ah.
listening to people who were paid to read it because they said they would absolutely not review it unless you gave them money to do it, which they would turn around and donate to charity.
Wow.
Uh, w- hearing what they said, it sounds like he got most of the way through writing it, and then at some point he either developed an an affection for psychedelic drugs, or he
Hmm.
had some sort of epiphany and tried not to be as terrible of a person.
Well.
But he
That-
didn't change anything about the previous like 3 issues of the
Yeah.
book.
We have to have All-Star Batman URE later. We'll just read the comic book on stream for hours every week.
I mean, we can like hell. Let's get a bunch of friends together and everyone can like read different parts.
Oh yeah, I'll do it like a radio play.
Yeah,
I'm down.
yeah.
I
I think
won't read Holy Terror
no.
out loud. I've gone on like Google searches to like just pick up panels and pages to like get the gist of what it was, and it does look like Fox News decided to commission a graphic novel. Like,
Oh wow, you're right. He's just a brown guy with no bat ears beating
Mhm.
up people in white robes or whatever. Interesting.
like it really soured me because I enjoyed for what it was, like Sin City artistic style and drawing of just being like, oh, this is a cool interpretation of like film noir for comic books. Oh, this is just what this guy's like all the time. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to support that. Like, yeah.
He almost has a little bit of a bat symbol on his chest or something. Oh, crazy.
Have you ever read the short pack comic strip about Frank Miller?
No.
All right, sending that over. Message.
Oh, when I got a new phone, the newest version of the Google Pixel doesn't have the message voice on there. It just has closest one is a lady saying "Hey," just it's okay, but
Like Navi from Legend of Zelda?
yeah, I guess I heard. Send me another message and I'll hold it up to the phone.
Because I remember I put that on my phone once, and some dude on the bus freaked out.
Zoom in on this.
But yeah, that is basically Frank Miller's writing style post 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like that during the 90s too, but it got worse.
Well, and that's the thing is when I was reading Sin City and it was like, oh, it makes sense that they're all like prostitutes and criminals and thieves and murderers. Oh, but this is Batman now. Why is Catwoman? Okay, never mind. I'm out.
Oh no.
I mean, to be fair, she was like the first. Was she the first big whore in Frank Miller comics? Because year one, he did make her a prostitute.
Yeah, but I never read that before. So like, Sin City was my first time ever reading Frank Miller,
Oh,
and then
okay.
it was when I went back to the other stuff. That's when I was like, oh, this is just your style. I don't think I'm into this for everything else. And then like 300 came out, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Maybe I should go back and look at some of his other stuff. And then I found out about Holy Terror and was like, now we're good. Turns out every now and again he makes something that like you don't realize is his own personal philosophy, and when you don't realize that, it's fine. But once you do, you can't take it back.
Right.
Yeah, Frank Miller has he's done some extremely good works that are highly influential, and he's also done other shit like uh, you know the guy wrote Daredevil Born Again, one of the greatest Daredevil stories of all time. Like he's the guy that basically turned the character of Daredevil what he is today, because prior to Frank Miller he was not nearly as dark as he is now. He redefined Batman. Uh, and also he wrote 90% of his female characters as whores.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that's very telling when you see that across all of his works. You're like, oh, there's a theme here.
Hmm.
Does he know that he's doing this?
well, no, he's just writing women
Right.
as
He's
far as
just-
he's concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story doesn't have a whore in it yet, and like I feel like that's what it needs for this story. Right?
Hmm. It's like, oh man, I didn't put any women in there. All right, time to add some whores. Frank, you said because there's no women, you're gonna have whores. He's like, no, I didn't. I said women. Yeah, you said that the first time, and the second time you said whores. Are
This is
you
a real-
sure?
Yeah, it's a real Strider Ranger situation.
You just
Same.
said you just proved my point. When you're complaining about it, and then you said the second time I said women, right? You agreed with me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We're both talking about the same thing here,
Yeah,
right?
it's who's on first? Whore's on first. It's only out by one letter.
And just in case the internet is watching this, it's
Hmm.
not okay to have all of your women be whores. Not that there's anything wrong with being a whore.
Sex
if
work is
you-
real work.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Whore is a derogatory term for sex work, but not that there's anything wrong with that if that's what you choose and what you want. But forcing everybody to do it is just artistic pimping, and that's not cool.
Right. But what is cool is Marco Polo.
Yeah.
He finds the most beautiful girl in the city, and she's immediately horny for him. So that's
And she's a princess.
yeah.
Yeah. Which, once again, I feel like this might just be because it's involving Marco Polo, but she becomes like the second least interesting person, I feel like, in this show. Like, this show would be a lot cooler if it was just the cons. Then maybe she'd be cooler. But
Right.
if it was keeping up with the cons, I would watch this show more.
That was a joke I was also thinking about making. We all got there, and we're just sort of circling around it.
Yeah. I was just trying to figure out whether or not I wanted to say 90-day fiancé or not. I feel like it was worth it to say.
The real world, Mongolia.
Oh, I wonder if they did that. Do they have original Mongolian TV shows? They have to. They have rock bands.
Hmm.
They have Mongolian MTV.
Maybe that's what the M stands for.
Yeah. It's MMTV.
Because MTV does not stand for music anymore. And
That's
I'm not
true.
saying that because I'm an old person who
You're not that old.
is like talking about like, oh, back in my day. It literally doesn't stand for anything anymore. MTV is just letters, like they've said it. That's just what the name of their station is.
Right. No, other channels don't have to explain what every letter in their call sign or whatever
Mhm.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the C in CBS stands for.
Yeah. KITV. No, it doesn't mean anything. It's just they have to have letters.
Yeah, WKRP.
Yeah. It sounds funny.
I just have to say it. HBO does stand for home box office, and then they started making TV shows, so
Hmm.
everything
Yeah.
doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, and where's don't mean anything.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cinemax. It's not Maximum Cinema.
Uh,
Showtime still works though,
Yeah. When was the last time
because
I
when you're
watched
watching it, it's always time for a show.
Yeah. It could shows on Showtime.
Mhm.
At least they did. And I know they had what's his name?
Shameless.
Oh, Dexter. Dexter was a
Oh
show.
yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
That was 15 years ago. Yeah,
Oh, didn't they bring it back?
I think so. But
Yeah, they do. But I want to say it's. I thought it was on a different channel, but maybe I'm wrong.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I don't have Showtime, so
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think anyone chooses to have. I thought Pluto for free if you want to watch Dexter New Blood.
Or we could watch it in January, and it's Dexter New Year.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I do. Even though Marco Polo is the most boring character on this, I do kind of like what they have done to in this episode and throughout so far. That the reason why he's interesting to the political structure of Mongolia is that he's good at describing things. So like that's something that a guy who has to sit on a throne really needs is somebody who's giving him a really accurate and good description of what's going on. And also the whole thing of finding out that he sees Marco as somebody who like has a similar relationship with their father, even if it's in different circumstances of like, yeah, when I found out my father was a dick too and I had to do better. So that's kind of where you're at, where I was at. And now I'm calm and that's never going to happen to you. But, you get the point.
Yeah. And he also has that thing where since he's this outsider, he doesn't have any weird loyalties to the prince or to his brother.
Yeah.
He's just a guy who knows I have to tell the truth to the Khan, or otherwise we'll get stampeded over in a rug.
Or be forced to eat shit.
Yeah.
It's just,
I don't know whether or not, like, what you're pointing out about how Marco Polo is there specifically to relay this information in a more objective way. Like later in the series, does it become more of like a fourth estate kind of metaphor where Marco Polo is the media?
Oh.
um, I don't think they get there.
Okay.
From what I remember, I I think as the series progresses, they just try to make him matter more and have opinions, and that's
Mhm.
like I don't feel like they don't lose Wong in it, but I feel
Mhm.
like some of the other characters, like it becomes a story that's mostly about the Khan, Marco, and the concubine, from what I remember, and that like that's unfortunate. I would have really liked it if Marco Polo was just the outside looking in on everything throughout,
Right.
but I think they missed that trick and didn't realize it until too late.
Yeah. And the show's called Marco Polo, so there's sort of an expectation that he's going to have to be like the main character at some point, even if he's not as interesting because he doesn't have all these stakes and everything. He doesn't have a kingdom to run or to take over.
But I mean, I think the writers knew that they were having a problem with it, and then didn't like they did that thing of like, well, it's expected that it's going to be about Marco Polo, right? And it's like that doesn't really have to be. Like that would actually be it'd be smarter to call it Marco Polo and make it about everything that Marco Polo saw.
Yeah.
That would be that's your note for the day. Don't force something to be the most interesting. That's why this stream is so successful. Is we just talk about whatever we want.
It's true. Mostly Batman. It turns
Yeah.
out. Whatever it says in the description that we're talking about, whatever it is we're talking about, there's an asterisk and says also Batman.
Yeah.
So,
It's a cultural touchstone
yeah.
to which everything is compared. Also, we don't actually compare most of the things we watch to Batman.
Yeah.
We just bring him up.
Everything reminds us of Batman.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is we talk about Batman, but everything we watch is actually compared to Star Wars.
It's true.
I kind of feel like that sometimes.
Yeah.
I've always felt bad about comparing things to Star Wars, but like it is like one of the few examples that everybody's seen multiple times, so they immediately know what you're talking about, that clearly goes through every step of the hero's journey. So you can be like, okay, so what am I talking? And it's like this scene in Star Wars, and people are like, oh yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Very clear characters and everything. Yeah. It's just good.
Yeah, and like up until maybe about 6 years ago, it was all widely agreed upon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all Star Wars fans knew exactly how every Star Wars thing was, and then I think it was 6 years ago. When did Force
That sounds
Awakens
right.
come out?
Force Awakens would have been earlier than that, I think. That was 2014, I think. But yeah, in a pre-Star Wars world, they had to use the Bible as like the thing to talk to everybody about, and like use as that reference that everybody got.
We should have a podcast just about Star Wars and the Bible.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still going to talk about Batman the entire time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's just what we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Star Wars, Batman, and the Bible.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen that magazine talking about like the numerical order of Batman and how it matches up with the Bible. Like,
Yeah.
that's been on my checkout stand.
Is those things, whenever they do that kind of stuff, it's real heavy on the Bible stuff, and I feel like we'd be lighter on it. It's like I think we could have a fresh take on it.
So, you had mentioned that the concubine becomes a major character later, and that immediately made me think: if the show is about Marco Polo, the Khan, and the concubine,
Right.
what's the etymology of the word concubine?
Ah.
Like, does it have anything to do with the word Khan? And so I decided to look it up. And first, I needed to figure out that what I was looking for was the etymology of a word, not the entomology of a word.
Right.
Because that's bugs.
Yeah. The first concubines were bugs.
Yeah. Yeah. Powerful men have always wanted to fuck insects.
Yeah. I mean,
Look
that's
at
what
the cricket ministry.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Sadow's whole deal is.
Yep. But anyway, it's
He's brushing makeup onto those bugs so they can fuck them later.
Maybe. I don't know. I've only watched 2 episodes of the show, David. You gotta ask Rory.
Yeah.
I mean, in my fan fiction, yes.
Excellent. But it's from the Latin verb cubare or cubere. I don't know how it's pronounced, which means to lie down. And I remember learning before that that Latin verb is actually where succubus comes from. And I was like, oh yeah, succubus, and what's the other one? There's another word that's like succubus that also means the same thing, because there was a whole Tumblr post that I remember where they said a gender neutral succubus would just be a cumbus.
Yeah, it's Incubus. Incubus, succubus. and
Incubus was the word I was trying to think
Yes.
of. I was typing all kinds of random shit trying to figure it out. The last thing that I finally gave up on was Hecubus. And I'm like, I don't
Ah,
even know if that's a word.
that was that Kevin's character from the Kiss in the Hall sketch. They're evil. Space.
That'd be great if it actually was. Also, Force
Yeah, it's this
Awakens
man
was
serpent
2015.
Incubus. Oh, okay, so we're right in the middle.
Yeah. But yeah, everything after that, people could not agree on anymore. Like I feel
Wow.
like Force Awakens was still agreed upon as like, well, I mean, I guess it was fine. I wish they did something different though.
I mean, The Force Awakens, like, I felt like that was a decent movie to show that you could recapture what was in the original three or original movies after what the prequels did, of just being like, yeah, we understand what made this good. Um, it wasn't. It was one of those things where it was like a placeholder where it could have gone up or could have gone down, but it was just a straight line across from New Hope,
Hmm.
and then yeah, that was
Yeah,
bad.
it was a real nice nostalgia thing to see, but then it's like, oh, now where do we go from here? And then
Yeah.
there's no real good way to go anywhere from there. But Manservant Hecubus, that was Dave Foley's character.
Ah, okay. That's why it's a thing that's in my head.
I knew it was there.
But yeah, also, and this is not the fault of J.J. Abrams and uh, who's the guy that made the one that I like?
Ryan Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, not the fault of them, but also the people who were children when the prequels came out grew up,
Mhm.
and they have opinions,
Yeah.
and it turns out they like those, and it's just like, well, now nothing, no one agrees on anything in Star Wars anymore.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's even people now that are just like, I don't know if Empire's the best. It's like, fuck you, fuck you. You don't get to talk about this anymore.
Yeah. I think it might be the best, but I don't think it's my favorite. But we don't have to get into everyone's hot takes on Star Wars.
I mean,
Tonight.
we don't
We'll do
have
it for
to.
Star Wars.
We don't have to, but we
Force,
could.
Yeah,
we could.
we it's absolutely an optional thing.
That's true. We're always dancing. That's the thing. We're always talking about Batman and dancing around what we really think about Star Wars.
Mhm. Are we dancing around? Because I always just lay it out.
Yeah, you do.
Like I'm just like I don't care if everyone's just like Chad has the worst Star Wars opinions. It's like that's fine.
Yeah.
If you like the things that I don't, then I don't give a fuck about your opinion.
Yeah. Just maybe there's you rank all the Star Wars opinions that everyone on the internet has. Chad's can't be the worst.
Hmm. I mean,
So,
they could be low.
yeah.
They could be real low. They're not the worst.
Yeah.
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 Well, we can go back and rewatch the Star Wars movies at some point in time,
Oh yeah.
and that would be. I'll save my criticisms and stuff for then.
Yeah.
I
You
I
know what
will
would
say
be more fun than going back and rewatching every single Star Wars movie?
Hmm.
Would be trying to reenact them all from memory.
Oh.
Like no special effects or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just reading the lines as we remember them and finding out that we only remember about 17 lines out of 9 movies.
They're all just from
11
the first-
really.
Yeah.
uh,
Half the lines are just I've got a bad feeling about this, or I'm going to
Mhm.
with.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like we're at least in the crowd that knows the line is "No, I am your father."
Hmm.
Like that. So we'll be at least be accurate-ish with the 11 lines that we know.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to do an 18-hour 4th of July marathon. We just probably get it done in 2 hours and get all 9 movies done. 11 movies and do all the spin-offs. We'll figure it out. That's for that summer problem.
How many more sequels do they have to make for Independence Day in order for that to be our in our July 4th movie marathon?
Oh,
Well, if you consider Pacific Rim to be in the same universe, which I don't, but I could.
Yeah. We just have to find other movies that happen on July 4th. So I mean, The Patriot probably happens on July 4th.
What about Live Free or Die Hard? Is that
that
4th of July?
Yeah,
I hope
yeah, that's the 4th of July.
That's a great name for a 4th of July movie.
God, I don't want to watch that movie. Let's do it. The other thing that we could do is just like random holiday movies. It's like, yeah, we're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch Independence Day, and we're gonna follow it up with Valentine's Day. And then after that, it's gonna be Halloween, the first Halloween movie.
Yeah. We'll finally make you guys watch Aloha, which is a Christmas movie.
No, it has to be named after a holiday.
Oh, yeah, it has to name it in the title.
Yeah. So there's also New Year's Eve. I think it's one.
And there's New Year's Evil. That's something else.
Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna look that up now. Movies with holidays in the name.
Yeah, there can only be so many. What else happened in this movie or in this episode? The Kubla Khan sends his brother a falcon mail with a broken arrow in it.
Yeah,
it's on. That was pretty cool. And they're playing that game where they roll bones as dice. I wonder what the rules are of that game.
I don't know. Like, also, I don't know how many sides my knuckle bones have. Like,
so it's 6, but it's not going to be like even. So it's really probably 2 or 3 sides that it'll usually land on.
Is it just like raw bones, or are they like doing anything to the bones before?
It didn't seem like there were any like markings or anything to tell you what number it was.
Also, if you want to find out what they were doing to the bones, once again, I have a fan fiction.
If you hit Control F for bones, you'll get a fancy.
It's also called Raw Bones. So,
all right. So, GameSpot has a gallery of every movie named after a holiday ranked. This is GameSpot though, so I'm not 100% sure that I trust that this is literally every movie with a holiday in the name.
Yeah, or a good ranking.
Oh no, that's obvious. I trust no list.
So just movies with game tie-ins.
Yeah. So at number 17, there's Christmas Eve. That one has Jean-Luc Picard in there. Yeah, that's all I need to know about that movie. Father's Day, number 16, with Robin Williams and Billy Crystal. Ash Wednesday. There was a movie called Ash Wednesday that was made in 1973 with Elizabeth Taylor in it.
Huh.
I don't think that we'll be able to find that on one to stream.
I don't know. Sometimes they have weird old stuff. I think
I'm sure there's like Turner Classic streaming somewhere.
Yeah. It's probably part of like the what's CBS All Access called now?
Oh, I didn't know.
Paramount Plus.
Oh yeah, it's on Peacock and Pluto TV and Roku.
Oh wow!
And Vudu and Amazon all for free, so we could watch it whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, Mother's Day.
No, that's
made in 1980.
This is an Ash Wednesday movie from 2002 with Edward Burns and Elijah Wood.
Maybe it's a remake. Yeah. Which one of them do you think is supposed to be Elizabeth Taylor? I think Elijah Wood.
Yeah, I would think so. He's got more.
He's got the eyes.
I think it's Ed Burns and Elijah Wood standing on top of each other in a gown.
So yeah, Ash Wednesday 1973, starring Elizabeth Taylor. It's on YouTube thanks to Leonardo Baracala.
Thanks, Leonardo.
Yeah. You just search YouTube for it and you can watch it if you want to.
There's
Or
a
you
Val
can just wait
Kilmer
till our.
movie called Columbus Day.
Oh, wow.
It's another Mother's Day movie, New Year's
Yeah.
Day, New
Just
Year's
the
Eve,
filming one.
that are completely unrelated. Those two movies have nothing to do with each other. It is not a sequel to each other or a prequel,
Hmm.
because New Year's Day came out in 1989 and New Year's Eve came out in 2011.
Oh, wow.
That would
Took a
be
long
pretty
time.
sweet if the New Year's Eve was a prequel to New Year's Day, though.
Yeah. You
Well,
want to know what
especially because
happened?
the third one is just going to be New Year's Day again.
Mhm.
And then it's New Year's Eve. Like,
Oh, is
really
Groundhog's
easy.
Day on this list?
What?
No.
Sorry?
Is Groundhog's Day on this list? And should we do a Groundhog's Day marathon where we just watch Groundhog's Day?
Yes.
The day of the week is Groundhog's Day next week.
I don't know if we should do it on Groundhog's Day, but that should absolutely be a marathon that we watch.
Yeah.
Is just watch Groundhog's Day, like, I don't know, 7 times.
I guess so. Yeah. Whatever ends up to 24 hours. Or not even. I feel like 12 hours is the right amount of time for a marathon. I don't know. Thursday,
12
February 2nd.
12 hours would be great. After the last, like, 17, 21,
Yeah.
or whatever
That's too much.
ridiculous amounts of time that
Yeah.
we've done.
It's way too much. Yeah. I don't know. I think other good holiday movies.
There's got to be an Arbor Day.
Yeah. Was it the guy who invented Earth Day that like murdered a bunch of people?
Arbor Day 2019.
Or was it Arbor Day?
Oh, there's also a 1936 movie called Arbor Day. It's apparently our gang short.
No.
The
Yeah, so
1936 one, not the 2019 one. 2019 one is a horror parody.
I mean, that sounds like the fun version of Frank Miller.
yeah. Yeah, the guy who invented Earth Day, he killed and composted his girlfriend in 1970.
There's also a 1990 movie called Arbor Day that is a horror movie about when taunted on the 20-year anniversary of his parents' murder, Elmer Jacobs awakens from his catatonic trance to reap a crop of victims using garden implements.
What's his name? Elmer. It's a good farmer name. I forgot that Uncle Sam is a 4th of July movie, but it's called Uncle Sam and not 4th of July.
He's born on the 4th of July, a 4th of July movie.
It's right in the name.
Yeah. It's not about the 4th of July specifically, but that's when the movie starts.
Yeah. Starts with his mom being wheeled into the delivery room, and the voiceover like, "This is." I bet you wonder how I got here. They flash back to 9 months earlier when his parents are doing, and then it flashes forward to him being in Vietnam. I think.
Is that before or after he learned how to be a bartender?
I just like the part where he slides in his socks and he starts singing the national anthem.
Yeah. And according to Scream, if you pause it in the right spot, you can see his penis, but I don't think that's true.
Have you guys watched the League of a League of Their Own series?
No.
No. I didn't even know they had a series.
It's on Amazon.
Hmm.
I also haven't watched it, but I've heard it's pretty gay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like I would like to watch it because I like the original.
Yeah, I love the original.
Mhm.
That wasn't gay enough. I mean,
Yeah,
go on.
it could have stood to be much gayer and blacker.
Yeah.
And they nodded towards black people in the movie.
Yeah. Well, I expect that they were still segregating professional sports by race, right? Oh. Did they have black women in that? I don't know. I guess we gotta watch the show and find out.
Yep.
Yeah.
The February. Watch feminist shows.
Oh no, we should watch that in May,
Yeah.
and we'll call it All the Way May.
There you go.
All right.
So was that Madonna's character?
Yes,
Nice.
who was actually based on a real person.
Yeah, I do want to know more about how many of these characters were based on real people and stuff. Did they do the thing in the credits where they showed the real people they were based on? They should have.
Maybe I don't remember.
I feel like they did. Like they went and showed like their actual picture in the Hall of Fame,
Right.
and then because I know like most of those characters, if they weren't like directly based on, were super loosely based on. They had a whole bunch of old ladies at the end of that.
Ah,
It's been a while since I saw
Yeah.
it though, so maybe I'm.
Maybelle Blair was her name. Yeah, she actually just came out, I think,
oh, okay.
Oh,
at like 95 or
Yeah.
something.
Wow. Yeah, let's say she's got to be an old lady by now.
Mhm.
well, that explains why none of them are sleeping with Tom Hanks.
No.
Because according to my fan fiction, virtually everybody wants to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Tom Hanks. How could you
Right.
not?
Yeah.
It's America's Zaddy right there.
Mhm.
Do you guys know that like Tom Hanks is like one of those the most well liked man in Hollywood, and then like Henry Winkler is like the second most. Like everyone really loves Henry Winkler too, and the only person like Henry Winkler doesn't like is Tom Hanks. I don't know what the history is behind that. It's just something I heard somebody say on a podcast, and I haven't looked up the details of. And that's very funny.
That sounds amazing. I want to know the story behind
Yeah.
that.
I also
Does he
want to see
dislike
that.
him because everyone likes him more?
Maybe they had some kind of interaction at some point.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, we had this guy that was just trying to kind of fill out his Letterman's jacket. So he jumped in the drawing department for a little bit, and he was like one of those golden children where like everything he did, he was really good at it. He was really nice and humble, like the kind of guy you want to hate, like Tom Hanks, but then like he starts talking, you're like, man, I still like this guy. Like I want to hate him, but I like him still. And it was so bad that my drama teacher sent him to detention just because he never got in any kind of trouble, and was just like, he's got to get this. He's got to get in detention once in high school. He's a senior. No one else is going to do it. So yeah, that's my my version of Tom Hanks. I went to my school, and I respect the hell out of that drama teacher for doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I think everyone probably had someone like that at their school, right? Where it's just like, oh yeah, no, everyone likes this person.
Yeah.
Like there was a dude like that at my school where he was just like super nice and everyone liked him. Not everyone knew him,
Right.
was the thing. He wasn't like crazy popular, but everyone who had ever met him just liked him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last I know of, he was because he was also extremely smart. He went to Stanford and he was working on AI development. And last I know of, he doesn't do anything with that anymore. And now he just plays the drums.
Yeah. Cool.
Wow.
I don't know whether or not that's a professional thing or not. It's just that's the only thing I ever see him posting about.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, no one wants to see someone posting about work all day.
Last time I heard, Brian was working for CNN, and then I want to say he became a regional like news anchor /
Oh, cool.
like started out as the weather guy someplace,
Mhm.
something like that. But he wanted to go into journalism, so good for him.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I only can remember like the names like two people I went to high school with, and one of them was my brother. Yeah. Yeah. Oh
So
yes.
next
Yep.
week we're watching the series finale, right?
Right. 'Cause I don't know if
Yeah.
anyone's officially called it yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and call it this. Let's change it. So, it's it's a fine show when stuff is happening. I think it's the pacing of it. So maybe the show that I really want to watch the whole 20 episodes of.
This is a show that I would enjoy having, like, playing while I'm like working or something. So it's like I can see it out of the corner of my eye. Like I don't want to have this playing while I have my back turned and I'm washing dishes or something. Like I want to
Mm,
actually see what's happening with the show, but I don't want to pay that much attention to it.
right.
I feel like if this show had come out 3 years after it did, it would have
Mm,
been like much huger.
Hmm.
I feel like it came out when Game of Thrones was at its height, and they were
Hmm.
trying to
uh,
so
yeah,
like they peaked too soon, so they got overshadowed by Game of Thrones, um, and then yeah, they focused on the white guy when they should have focused on all of the Asian people. That would have been a smarter call, and a better story.
mm,
But that also hurt it. That it before that conversation was being had, they came out with a show that would have been perfect for that conversation, and didn't. But even then, I feel like this fell victim to Netflix canceling things after 3 seasons when they shouldn't. Um, and it could have been a better show and could have gone on for a lot longer than it did. Um, and I do feel like this one's a good one to like sit down and binge for a
mm,
weekend. Because, like you said, you can do other stuff while kind of watching it, and it's an interesting enough story and well
right.
done. It's just
Yeah. So
not all
we'll watch the finale this weekend. I think I might go jump on Wikipedia or something and catch up on what happens in between. Because I want to know, but I don't want to commit 20 hours to it.
You can fast forward to the fight scenes.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I do with most movies.
yeah.
I
Like the
think
fight
that
scenes
this is
in the
going to
movie.
be my project like Vikings,
Mm,
where it's just like this is a show that I'm going to watch over the course of several years, despite it being all available to me to watch at once. Because I've been watching Vikings off and on for, I want to say, like maybe 7 years.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
fair.
it, which is about the time and about the length of time that it's been on TV. I want to say it's been on TV for like 8 or 9 years. But there have been many periods where it wasn't on TV.
Mm,
Uh, Times where like it half a season and then like half a year went by before the other half of the season,
right.
and uh, I generally would watch it like I would watch half a season in a weekend, and then I would stop watching the show for 6 months,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
on and so
So,
forth.
I feel like there with Vikings, I got screwed up because I started watching the show and then I accidentally, on purpose, read about the main character's historical thing, just being
Hmm.
like, "Who is this guy?" And then I read all of it, and then I was like, "Oh, now I accidentally spoiled the show for myself because I know which way this goes." Um, Also, for the longest time, I thought the guy from Vikings was the same guy from
Sons of
Sons of
Anarchy,
Anarchy, and
same.
like for a while there, I was like, "Wow, he's able to do two pretty big budget shows, uh, completely different." But that's really cool that he's figured out how to do that. Also, his hair grows pretty fast, and then
Hmm.
I was wrong. Um,
I also thought that they were the same person at first
yeah,
because they really do look similar.
yeah, especially when you're watching them like 2 days apart in a completely different setting. Like,
Hmm.
but
So, David, do you have any predictions for what the end of the show is going to be like?
Well, I mean, because we know just from history, if this movie's going to go try to follow history, that Kublai Khan's going to win over the Song dynasty people. So hopefully we get to see that. And then Marco Polo loses his treasure somewhere in the Pacific Islands or something, which we learned from the Uncharted series. So we get to see all of that in the last episode. The guy trying to brush makeup onto his fuck mantises. And Kublai Khan kicks in the door and cuts his head off with a sword. He does with his brother. And while Marco Polo is sailing home with a ship full of gold and spices.
you just spoiled it.
Yeah.
All you forgot was how Kublai Khan finds Kamar-Taj and becomes a librarian.
Yeah. So I'd like to see all of that happen in the last episode. What do you guys think?
Have you watched the whole show, Rory?
Yes.
Okay. So we can't really ask you to predict what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? They look very similar. Not the same, but similar.
Yeah, when you put them side by side, you cover one eye and look. They definitely look similar.
They look even more similar if you cover both eyes.
Yeah. And you use your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And similar names, Travis Fimmel or Charlie Hunnam. It's like the reverse of each other's name.
I would like to think that because of the show getting canceled by Netflix, we actually get blueballed on the takedown of that city, and it's actually another minor battle that wraps up the season. Perhaps like another city that's supporting the walled city.
It's Mongol on Mongol naked horseback fighting.
Excellent. Can't wait.
Yeah, his other brother shows up with his army. Yeah, 'cause they talk about the Mongol, the Golden Horde, and some other princes or something. There's other Mongols out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yes, that'll be that for next week, and then.
Also, I hope that Marco's dad dies.
Yeah.
That's just because you want Marco to become Batman.
Yes. I mean, he's being taught by a blind guy. He should become a master martial artist.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that blind guys teach you how to be super awesome.
Yeah. They're the best teachers.
Uh-huh. Like, if you ever happen to pass a blind person on the street, ask them to be your sensei.
Well, first punch them.
Mm-hmm.
If they move out of the way, then ask them to be your sensei.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The best mentors in martial arts are blind people, but not all blind people can mentor you in martial arts.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
I don't want anybody just pigeonholing blind people. So you got to test that out. Like,
I don't want some random blind guy to be my sensei, and he doesn't know anything about martial arts. Oh, the other thing I want to mention for next month will be the return of the 12 days of a musicalness. We've done the 12 days of Catsmas last year, the 12 days of Rentmas the year before. This year it's either going to be the 12 days of Greasemas or the 12 days of Mamma Mia-mas. They're tied right now, so
I vote Mamma Mia-mas.
Yeah. Same.
Okay, well, there you go. It's 3-1 for now, and we'll know by next week specifically what we're going to be doing for those 12 days.
Okay.
In which we watch and discuss 12 community theater or high school productions of those musicals, and also the movie, because I think these all have movies made. So, yeah. Okay, we'll start with the movie.
There's more than one, actually.
Oh, I know there's a sequel. Is there more
Yeah,
than one Mamma Mia movie?
no, there's just
Saying
a
that,
sequel,
that's what I'm saying.
but there's also a sequel to Grease.
Oh yeah, which is a famously bad movie that I hope to see one day.
Hmm. I The only way that I'm willing to watch Grease is
Hmm.
if we're watching the second one,
Okay.
because I don't like the first one.
Oh,
Like
it had yeah.
I know that everyone loves it, and there's actually nothing wrong with it or bad
Right.
about it. I just I don't enjoy the
Hmm.
songs.
Oh. But have
I
you seen a Filipino middle school production of Grease?
I don't think that's gonna make me change my opinion of those songs.
No.
Like, I don't need to see them doing those songs terribly. I
Right.
need to see them do terrible songs.
yeah.
Yeah, just need better songs.
Yeah.
I feel
Or
like my thing against Grease is the fact that everybody else loves it so much that
Mm.
it's almost like how it took me forever to watch Rocky Horror Picture Show and I still
I'm
can't enjoy
still
it.
yeah. I still haven't watched it for exactly the same reason.
I don't get it. Like, I watch it and I'm just like, this is weird.
Yeah. See, every description I've heard of it, it makes me go, "Oh, I should watch this," but I'm always hearing it from someone who's annoying me while they're talking about it, so I don't want to watch it.
I feel like if you can go into it with an open mind, you'd enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I think that you like more off the wall, uh,
Yeah.
you know, uh, weird stuff.
Right.
I'm not necessarily a weird stuff guy, unless we're talking about in bed.
Right.
Um,
Which is it's like a fortune cookie. You always have that
Yeah.
in bed.
I feel like I can appreciate it for its progressiveness at the time that it was out the first time, where it's like, oh, a lot of people hadn't been exposed to anything like this and they were having
Right.
fun with it. That's cool. But because I'm past that area of progression, it's
Mm.
kind of like it's like watching Blazing Saddles, where it's like, oh, I appreciate this for being the witty commentary it was at the time,
Mhm.
but now it's just not that funny.
Mm.
So
Yeah. And it's hard to show a movie to
That
someone who's never seen it before.
I feel like more than any other ridiculous thing that we've said during this show is going to get the most hate mail.
You don't like Blazing Saddles.
it's not that I don't like Blazing Saddles. I'm just saying that like because of where I was born in the space time continuum, all of the comedy that I watched was written by people that loved Blazing
Right.
Saddles, Mel Brooks, all of that. So like
It
I
informed and influenced so many things that
Yeah.
going back and watching it is kind of a diminishing returns thing.
yeah.
Mm.
It's the same issue with Watchmen. Like,
Uh,
Yeah.
if you grew up reading comics in the 90s and 2000s, it, like going back and reading Watchmen, there's nothing groundbreaking about it because they took every groundbreaking idea in there and made it trite.
right.
And it's also one of those things like with Watchmen when people are like Watchmen's the greatest comic book ever written, and I'm like, you are younger than me. Like you just heard somebody else say that Watchmen is the greatest comic ever and latched onto that. I don't think
Yeah.
you necessarily appreciate it for what it is, and
Right.
there's others that are just as good.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
think they're just thinking about how it was the greatest comic book adaptation movie and just moving backwards and thinking it must be the best comic book.
For a given value of greatest adaptation,
In
if
that
like reading,
it's exactly the same thing, right? Except
yeah,
for
yeah, except for the pirates.
the pirate stuff and then the giant tentacle monster. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it doesn't look like it has a huge vagina on it anymore.
Which is a step down.
Yeah.
Expected better from you, Zach. Expected better.
Although, if we are talking about greatest comic book adaptations, I do feel like 300 is in that list because
Mhm.
all they really did was fill in the pictures between panels.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
That is also an extremely faithful adaptation.
Yeah. Not saying it's the best comic book or best movie.
Right.
I do think
It's
it's the
fun. I
best
like
that Zack Snyder has
Yeah.
ever done. Like it's
Have
the
you-
one time his movies matched up with what he was doing, or his style matched up.
Right.
Have you
Good.
watched the Owl one?
No.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
Like I want to say that that's my favorite Zack Snyder movie, but I haven't watched it in a very long time.
Mm.
All right. I will check it out, and it'll be a bonus stream.
Yeah.
We can talk about it.
Or it'll be something that we talk about instead of whatever show we're watching.
Yeah.
That one time we finally review the Batman, it'll just be us talking about Zack Snyder movies.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's like we're going to spend 40 minutes talking about owls.
Yeah.
Like
Right,
not just the Legend of Ga'Hoole.
Right.
We're going to talk about like actual barn owls,
Yeah.
and also Mr. Owl who always bites the Tootsie Roll Pop.
Yeah. He's
That
a
fuck.
jerk.
Yeah.
Jerk. A kid came to him for help, and he ate his candy right in his face.
It
You-
destroyed my trust in teachers and owls.
You know who wouldn't have done that though? Owl from the 100-Acre Woods.
Yeah.
He didn't always know what he was talking about, but he was a good dude.
Yeah. He had a good
That's
heart.
true. That's true.
We should make
should.
owl rankings.
Should I want to do
I'm in.
that?
I'll write this down.
Yeah. So tonight we're gonna write out on a video that is Henry Winkler addressing the rumors of his feud with Tom Hanks. I may have been spreading some sort of urban legend by saying that he doesn't like Tom Hanks, but we'll find out. We'll find out.
I hope Tom Hanks surprises him in the video and he punches him.
Yeah, just
He's
one
so
Tom Hanks and just like Colin in the background, just being like, "Oh, guess it's not Happy Days anymore."
Ba-ba-ba-bow.
Every
Yeah.
time you're on Watch What Happens Live, I ask you about the big Tom Hanks feud, which isn't really a feud. But I don't want to ask you about that. But what I want to ask you is,
No,
you
I wanna
know everybody in town. You're out and about. Have you two never in the last 5 years run into each other in the
Oh yes. Oh
Palisades
no,
or
no.
something?
I've run.
And when you
into-
do you talk?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
I ran into Tom and Rita at an award show just before the pandemic, and it was very warm. Rita, one of her first jobs was on Happy Days. Tom Hanks
Right,
was
yeah.
on Happy Days.
Yes, right. So it's all very cordial. It's
all
only
very-
shit stirrers
it's
like
all-
me that
yes,
bring
that's
this
right.
stuff. Yes. Okay. Good.
It's all very cordial.
Well, that's
One
Okay.
day I'll write the book.
okay. Well, next week we'll find out real celebrity too.
Well, it's probably because he refers to his wife as Warm Rita.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
why
that's gonna
it's
even
really
piss off Tom.
Yeah, we gotta figure
Yeah.
this out of the story.
One of the very few times I've ever seen Tom Hanks angry is when a paparazzi pushed Rita.
Oh.
Oh.
We're writing down that next week. So remind
Yeah.
us of that. But yeah, that's our show for tonight. Thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you next week for the finale of Marco Polo. Good night.